So I forgot to record this. So yeah, no issue. So Divya has got a doubt like what exactly is a fact and dimension table.
Yeah.
So you want me to pick another example and maybe give it. So we were anyways talking today on one scenario. So let me just say show you some data. Okay, I have data called sales data. So can you just go through the columns and identify which table is it? Like, is it a dimension table? Is it a fact table? Option A, dimension table. Option B, fact table. Let's go. This is the table name selected is sales data and have columns called order date, stock date, order number, product key, custom key, territory key, order line item, order quantity.
Is that fact table?
Sorry? Yeah, can you be a bit loud? I didn't get you what you were trying to say.
I mean, no. I was just saying, is it a fact table?
Yeah, so okay, you say it's a fact table. Okay, it's the sales data, right? The sales data. So we have seen the column names, and why do you say? Why do you think it's a fact table?
Um,
Um, you don't mind.
Actually,
What is her question?
Sorry, Divya has a question. She needs some more. She's a little confused with identifying fact and dimension table. So I'm just kind of showcasing
Sure,
another
sure.
example.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now I am on track. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So you say it's a fact table, fine. But do you have any reason before you say it's a fact table? In my previous
reason
session.
I
Mhm.
find is like we can have more connections based on this sales table. So I thought it should be a fact one.
Connections. if- what is the primary condition for a dimension or a fact table, which I mentioned in my previous session?
I mean, a fact table is kind of we need to have some metrics in it, and dimensional should have some details about the table. I mean, about the data. Is that right?
So
granular data.
Fact
yeah.
is like some
Mhm.
sale amount, price, or quantity
Yeah.
which we can add up. That is called
Numeric values.
detailed
Exactly.
info about the fact table. And dimension table is like
Yeah. So we have
yeah,
we have all the definitions that I mentioned. Yeah, that's very
Yeah.
good. So you already have. So what do you think? Like where is the what do you see in this current table? Like do we see any granular data? Do we see any metrics? Do you see? Can you identify the metrics so that it's easier for us to pick it up?
Hmm.
So the sales data has got order quantity. What is that? Number of orders. Isn't it a metric?
Yes, yes.
It's a metric, right? Order line item. Okay. Isn't it a metric? You can always check also. Like you can see, okay, it's a whole number and whole number. Seems to be metric, isn't it? Even territory key is a
I
whole
mean, the
number.
numbers. Yeah.
But is it a metric?
No.
Yeah.
No, it's
That
not a
that clear.
metric.
Yeah, that's a clear understanding that you already have, right? That's good.
Hmm.
So now you have a difference between this and this, right? So these are the
Right.
keys.
Yeah.
We although we know it's a whole number, but we are not. We have some knowledge. So these are just meant to join. So because these are the foreign keys, because they are repeated values 352, 352. Immediately I said foreign key. Why? Because it's not a unique value, right? It's not
Right.
a
Right.
yet
Yeah.
mostly they are foreign keys. Nines are repeated. That means this is a fact table as well because we have a matrix. First condition is matrix.
Metrics. Okay.
Matrix and the granular level, like okay, is it timings? And then you can see okay, order number. This should be your unique I mean, mostly this should be the multiple
Primary key.
primary key, but sometimes it
Okay.
might not be. Okay, it's not
Hmm.
mandatory that, but still this is a fact table. In this case, this is not a primary key because you can
Okay.
see how did I say this is not a primary key immediately? Because I've seen that below rows. Oh, come on. You can see, and the total table rows, how many we have?
23,000.
What are the distinct values that you have in the order number? 10,000, isn't it?
10,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they're not unique, but although this is a fact table, I'm not denying
Okay.
it's not a fact table, but it's a fact table, right? Because
Okay.
this has got order level. And I'll show you some other table. Now go to returns data. This is the returns data.
Hmm.
Can you identify this table,
Okay.
please?
Yeah. Since it has a return quantity as a metric, I'm saying it as a fact one.
Exactly. It's a
Okay.
fact table. It's a fact table.
Okay. Yeah. This
This
is
one.
dimensional
Dimension.
since it has detail,
Okay.
just a detail. Yeah.
So what is the dimension? So just now you guys very well mentioned what is a fact table with all the definitions. What is the dimension table?
It just has the details about it. That's it.
Yeah, information
Description
about that
details.
particular
Information.
table.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Particular
it might have 20
order
columns. It might have 2 columns.
or
Like customer table, you have 2
customers
columns.
detail.
It
Yeah.
might have sometimes
Mm.
20, 30 columns. It's not about number of columns, right? It's about what information it
Mm.
is holding that is helping us to identify if it is a dimension or a fact table, right?
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
the information that we have to just look through the information and see, okay, does it providing as a metric? Does it providing any values, any amounts, any calculate like any calculated fields, amounts, right? Any price information, any quantity information, like quantitative information. You getting my point? So those
Right.
kind of informations are there in that table. Okay, then there seems to be okay. Seems to be a fact table. Like in different scenarios, for example, in sometimes like they sometimes you might be provided with an Excel sheet where you might have all the things together. You might have a single table where you have amount, you have a customer information and all. That's fine. That's fine. So we have a single table, so we are not having any model as such. We are not you know kind of dividing. But maybe if you are trying to split up those one single table, and then you might have to categorize like what is what. So you have to model then. So you will pick you will remove the customer information from that one table and try to maintain the keys so that you can join them so that you are separating out a fact table. So that's what they are doing, right? So assume this is earlier, it's all joined as a single table, like territory, name, returns data, everything is in one single table. But data modelers or the database modelers, they have actually divided this for better performance. You getting my point? So that's somebody has done it, right? So when you have this all things clubbed together, you might want to say, okay, since there's a lot of redundancy in the data, maybe you might not want to say what table is it, assuming this all columns are in one single table. Okay, so you might want to say, okay, it has got all the information together. If you wanted to come up with some data modeling, or you wanted to do the database activity, like sometimes you might be given a simple Excel sheet and you might want to create some division of this tables. Then you might want to properly analyze it and see, okay, I wanted to divide the data based upon some information. Maybe you wanted to split the table into two tables. One is which is holding all the region information, right, and providing this key is there in the second table, so that you can join them and make sure it's a proper relationship, seeing that this is the dimension, this is a fact. Getting my point?
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. So don't worry, you'll keep learning. Like so now you have clear understanding, right? To at least by looking at the data.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, fine. So if you don't have any questions, we'll move on with this to the topic. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's go. Where were we? Okay, we're done with this data modeling cardinality, right? We're done with the cardinality as well. Okay. Fine. We'll go with this. Okay. There's something called active and inactive relationship. So if you go back to our report that we were working on, this is the report that we were working on. Okay, we were kind of standing here on the last session. So you defined some relationship between all these things. But do you see something which is, when you double click on this join, or when you are actually joining, you see these options. We have seen this last time, right? Cardinality and the cross filter direction
Yes.
single, automatically it comes up. I want you to focus on this option. Make this relationship active. Okay. So what happens when you uncheck it? the relationship is still there, but it's dotted.
Okay, means it's
Dotted.
inactive. Yeah, okay.
That means it's inactive relationship. When you make it active, by default it is active. By default, you can see other
Okay.
joins. By default, we didn't disturb that.
Mm.
But there is a provision to disturb that. There's a provision that, why there is a provision means, let me tell you. So you can actually create two joins, okay, two joins between two tables, provided you only have one active relationship at any given point of time. Not only two joins, you can do any n joins. Okay. Let's assume you have some other, although this is not relevant data. So I'll get you a relevant data before we go on to the active relationship. So let me just finish off this slide. So basically, what we are doing here is, for example, there's a dates table here, right? And there's a sales table here. Okay. So there is two dates, like one is ship date, one is order date. So I'm joining the dates table, date to order date once and date to ship date once. Right?
Right.
Date is the common thing, but here we have two dates. Right? So I'm
Correct.
joining these two, but what happens is one would be automatically inactive because it says, boss, you cannot have a dual relationship. You should only commit it to one, like something like that. So you have to have an active relationship, or like even the system will not provide. Okay, I'll show you what error we will get it. Okay, I'll show you that also. So for that, what we will do is basically the one with dark line is active relationship and the one with dotted line is inactive. Okay, one is with order date and one is with ship date here. By default, Power BI will only allow one active relationship between tables. Okay, but as you can see, we can say that between these two tables, we have two relationships basically. One is active relationship, one is inactive relationship. Okay, so why, in what cases inactive is required and all, we'll talk about it. So before that, I want to get the dates table. Okay, so again, we'll come back to this active and inactive relationship in a while, once we get the dates table. So again, this dates table is a very big, important concept in okay here, because you will be using this dates table many a times in your work as well. This is going to be the standard table that we are going to learn. So let's say you have all the information here: customers, products, regions, sales. But there is an additional requirement of the dates table. Uh, can anybody say why would that be? Why would a dates table would need it?
Can you repeat the question?
Because, yeah,
So my question is like, I'm saying there's an additional requirement of a dates table where, that I think the dates table should be in this model where it will help me a lot in my reporting.
be- because we don't see date. Okay.
Date, order
So
date,
we need
and
dates
ship date.
table. Why?
It's in the
Because
fact table, we have the date, but in a dimension table, we need to connect, no, to give the relationship.
Exactly. So that is one
Okay.
reason. The second reason is
Okay.
being, when you have a dates table, you have a lot of flexibility to do lot of options, because your majority of your report requirements from the clients would be like, can you create me a report for last 5 quarters or last 10 quarters, or what is the sales over profit over past 2 years, can you just compare me with 3 years back, what was the value, and how is it getting progress this year. So everything they talk about is most of the financials or accounts. When they have dates, especially in the data, like we have dates in the ship date and order date, they want to say, can you create me a visual where it shows like what is the speedy delivery happening, like in past 2 years. Like I wanted to see a graph. I want to see month over month profit, month over month sales. So all this month over month, all these questions will be answered easily when you have a dates table in your model. Okay, so dates table is very much important when you have a lot of requirements related to your time in the sense month over month, year, quarter, weeks, whatever it is. So when you have requirements such that you do not have such requirements, then no need actually. But majority of the times you would have some or the other visual request from client on this kind of request. So having a date table will make your job very easy. How it will make us easy is, they have standard set of columns that we would get, like, standard way. I'll show you. You have to carry this M code. So already this, okay, we're going to create a dates table within Power BI. I'm not going to get it from anywhere. So usually what happens is database team, like for example, let's assume this is all given, these 4 tables are given you from one of the database team. And let's assume this is coming from SQL Server. So they would also have a date table separately in the database. So you can directly pull the dates table from the database as well. Okay. So sometimes if you are getting this data from SharePoint or OData or some other places, some other where they don't have any dates table, then you have to create a date table on the Power BI itself. Okay, you're getting my point. So you have to create the dates table on the Power BI itself. Power BI has that flexibility also. I'll show you what it can do. It can populate data for dates table. I'll show you that in a while. Okay. So let's go to transform data. Okay. Now we have 4 queries. I want to get a new query. How do I go to get a new query? Go to new source, blank query. Got a blank query. Click on advanced editor. Remember these steps. These are the standard steps that we are going to follow. Especially this particular dates table, you're going to follow along. If you are landing in a Power BI job, you're going to follow along like every time to get the dates table. So I deleted the default script. Okay, I deleted it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste some cheat code. I have an M code. This is called M script or M code, right? So I have a standard M code which is always residing on my inbox or my phone or my email. I always have that M code I carry wherever I go. I've been working on Power BI since past 4.5 years to 5 years now, totally on Power BI. I never remember this M code. I always copy paste it. So you need not worry about, Santosh, what is this M code? It's so big. I'm not asking you to remember it. Just I'm asking you to maintain somewhere so that you can copy paste it. Okay. So I'll just get it, the M code I have. Already we have it here. Let me show you. R4 if I in the SharePoint. I actually have it on the top of SharePoint. Can you see the M code for date table, calendar table?
Okay.
Just clicked on it. So you can see this is a script. Already have access to it. Okay, you can also use the same thing. So I just copying this and pasting it here. Okay, I've not done anything. It is automatically writing some functions, Power Query functions. It is trying to calculate it, and click on done. When you do it done, it will ask us questions. Okay, boss, you're asking me to generate a dates table. For that, I have to populate the data for the dates with different columns, like especially dates and months and all. But I cannot populate like all 100 years or 200 years, right? You need to provide me what is your expectation, like what is your expectation of your data set that you want, what is your start date, what is your end date. That's a minimum, right? So what I do for that is I need to provide start date and end date. What I do for that is, okay, then I'll go back to my sales table and say, okay, my data of my orders date, basically, starting from, let me start descending, or, I'll just check. Okay. I see 2019 and 2021. Okay. Descending. So I can see 2021 and 2019. So I just go through the data, or else you can also go to the Excel sheet or, wherever, and see, filter it and see what is your maximum or minimum data that you have. So I see 2019 is my starting year, and 2000, I know that they have only 3 years of data. So I know 2019 January 1st would be ideal, and 2021 December 31st would be ideal for the end date. So I will enter the same thing, like I'll say 01/01 2019, and we can mention 31st/12/2021. I think this should be fair enough. If you want to stay updated, you can see 2022. something like that. But for now, 2021, let's keep it. And this third filter is something called fiscal year start month. Fiscal years is something which is a financial year, you know it. Like in India, it starts from April 31st March would the financial year is closing, and the new financial year starts from April 1st. If you are in US, I think January 1st is the financial year, right? Fiscal year. So either it's not mandatory, it can be anything. Okay, it's not mandatory. Click on invoke. When you click on invoke, automatically the data gets populated. You can see I just invoked the data from that query that I pasted, and imagine it started to populate the data for 1st of 2019 till 2021. When you check the last date, it will be 2021 December 31st. And you can also see the filter. You can check the year and see, get all the 3 years, and you got each and every value. You can see each and every day date. Day one is first, second, and it also giving me the what is the different details of it. For example, what is the month name? It's a January. What is the month and year together? What is the quarter and year together? What is the day on that very first day? So all this would have taken so much time for you to create in Power BI, writing DAX functions and all. But this one formula that I just copy pasted is automatically giving you everything. It is giving you what is the week ending date for this first date. Like, you select any date, like this week ending date is same thing for all the 7 days, right? 13 for this. So it is giving me that all those calculations. You can see fiscal year, all these things is automatically giving you in a one single click, right? So this is what is your dates table. Now you can rename this dates table. Instead of invoked function, you can give dates. Okay. Since you have done with the dates table, you can actually select all the queries, because I want you to club them all together, saying that move to a different group, data model. I created a new group called data model, and I'm just storing separately because this seems to be a query. You can see this is a query which has populated. I wanted to keep it separately. Now you can see you have all the tables here. The dates table especially is your dimension table. Is it a dimension table or a fact table?
Dimension table.
You're clear with that, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a information about information, it's information about dates, what day, what.
It's only months, day,
Right.
and
Yeah,
day,
it's all
month,
about
quarter.
days.
It's calculated only the
Yeah.
date. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so basically that is all about the dates table that we have just populated. So this is how we have to get the dates table. I told you it's very important that you can get this dates table, because we might get a lot of requirements based upon different requests which related to like month over month, year on year, like a lot of things. Okay, so dates table would make that your job very easier, because already you have pre-calculated values wherein you can pick it up and do it. Okay, let me close and apply. Okay, once you are done with this query, close and apply. Observe this. You should always observe this. Loading is happening. You can see waiting for other queries. All the other queries are being loaded, and this dates table is also getting loaded. Creating connection in the model, loading data to the model, to number of rows loaded, waiting for SharePoint.com because this is coming from SharePoint list. For dates, it was not shown up. Right now, you can see it's there in the model. There is your dates table. Yeah, this is your dates table. So now, what is the next thing that you have to do?
You need to
Sitting,
give the
yeah, sitting ideally,
Relationship.
will it help?
no.
No, you have to build a relationship.
Yeah, even if you get the dates table or whatever table for that matter, if you're getting here, if you're keeping it separate, it will no way help you unless or until you wanted to show it separately. Right. If you wanted to club them with the existing data, you have to join them. Okay. So now what are the chances that I could join with this this dimension table with my fact table, because I'm it's a star schema. So obviously I would join this dates table with my center table, which is a fact table. That you should be clear by now. And what would the column that would pick?
Date with order date
Order date.
or ship date.
Yeah, exactly. So we have dates. Oh, we have order date and ship date. Again, there's a confusion. Like, okay, I've got sales table, I've got ship date, I've got order date. Which date I have to join?
Order date only.
Reason? What's the
Uh,
reason?
Because in the dates we don't see any ship date. Isn't ship date
That
is
is the date
different.
where
Order
you
is
initiate the order.
order is like which day we ordered. Ship date is like when after ordering when it is exactly shipped.
Exactly.
Date.
Yeah, this is a correct answer. But why I'm saying, like, my question is, why I should join only with the order date, or why not ship date?
That's what it's not in the dimension table, isn't the ship date? How can we give the relationship to the fact table?
Okay, when you say it's not in the dimension table, this is a dimension table
Yeah,
called dates table. Okay, when I click
yeah,
on dates
dates
table, I
table.
got a date.
Mhm,
So how are
mhm.
you saying it is not there in the dimension table? We have dates in the date in the table, but why are you
Okay,
saying, like, if it is a order
okay,
date,
got it.
you are
Because there
having a
is no
preconceived
particular
notion. Yeah,
order or ship mentioned over there. It's only a date.
yeah.
So yeah, got it.
That's why I'm
So
asking
it
why.
can work for both. If they
Exactly.
mention order
Exactly.
date, then it won't work.
Yeah, it
Okay.
can actually work for both. It's in our requirement. It's our duty to pick whichever I
Okay,
want,
okay,
right? It's not a
okay.
mandatory like it should always be joined with a order date. The only thing
Okay.
is we usually join with order date. Right now, join with order date because majority of your questions related to your from your client would be about orders. What happened to my order? When was it delivered? When was it ordered? Like how many orders have been placed with so and so customer? All the questions are coming based upon order. Many
Mm.
questions, many questions are based upon, like, what is my sales over sales? That means sales means what? Number of orders, right? Sales means what? So what is the sales over sales, like, for past month over month? Show me all these graphs, right? So all these questions are somehow rotating behind orders, that is sales, default sales. Only very less questions could be like, okay, I want to see what is the ship date, what is the ship date sales, or I wanted to specifically see what was the ship date happening on this so and so. The less questions are on ship date. Okay,
So basically, based on the requirement, we should act, right?
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the reason Power BI is giving you an additional provision. Boss, you might have some minor questions about your ship date. You can still join it, date to ship date. I have done both joins now. What happened?
One is active and other
Yeah,
is
so it says
inactive.
active is by default. Default, this is the relationship you have to maintain. Okay, this is the relationship. So whatever you do here by default, you are kind of getting the details of the order related only. Okay, you're getting the order related only. But
Yeah.
okay, let me frame your question now. Let me come up with some question to make you understand a little better. I would say, would add a table here. I'm trying to show you something. Sales information, total revenue is my sales. Okay, now what I do is, since I've joined the date, like I will add a date here. Okay. Okay, let me convert this into a date format. So what is the information that you're looking at here? Total revenue. I know it's a total revenue, but what exactly is that? 90,000. Date one is 90,000. So what
For a
exactly?
date, I mean, for January 1, we got this
We
revenue
got this
Yeah, that
total
means
revenue.
on
per
January
date.
1st, we have made sales. That means
Hmm.
these many, we have sold so many orders were done, and this was the sales happened with those orders. So that means
Yeah.
it's an order date, isn't it? This is acting like an order date, isn't it?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
So what I'll do is I'll go back. I'll delete this join. I'll make this active. Oh, okay. This is ship date now. Now go back and look at the data. What do you see?
5th January, it is
Where is
this
first Jan?
revenue. So
Where is first Jan?
it's gone.
Okay, it's
Why?
gone. Maybe it's because
It's
of
a ship
orders.
date.
Yeah. So definitely, if you started your business from day one, like you got an order placed in the very first day, it's more unlikely that you shipped it immediately, right?
Hmm.
Yes,
That means the
exactly.
ship date is actually starting from 5th of January, right?
Mm.
But
Okay.
again, total revenue is giving like, okay, that the ship date sales as per the ship date,
Right. This makes sense. Yes.
right? You're getting the point now. You're getting clear
Yeah.
picture, right? Yeah. So this is why I wanted to show you with example. So, but usually what happens is like, since we all the questions are rotated behind this one order date, I'll make this as active join, and I'll keep the other one as inactive join ship date. Okay, we'll come to using inactive join little later. Don't worry about that now. I'll tell you something which is basically DAX function is needed to use when it use and all. Just forget about that. So right now you understood like what is the difference between those two. Okay. So now you understood like the purpose of active relationship and inactive relationship. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll try to show you how to use inactive relationship now. Now you know we have an inactive relationship. I kind of deleted the active relationship and I've showed you to use the inactive relationship. But usually Power BI has a provision. Okay, so we will be covering it in our DAX sessions. Okay, right now you don't have to worry about that. So what we will do is in our DAX sessions we will write some formula called calculate sum total revenue. Okay, this is a sales, and we say use relationship. This is a function. You can see the use relationship function, and we'll say the key, the date table date and sales table ship date. We specifically mention because by default, every time it is using order date as the join. When wherever we need to use this ship date in whatever visual or whatever requirement we have, there I will write a formula saying that boss use relationship this one ship date provided this provided this should be there, this inactive join should be there, this dotted line should be there, only this will work. Okay, so when we know that there's a dotted line, we should say okay, use relationship this one. So then we will say okay, this ship date sales, then that will calculate directly this one. Okay, you getting my point? So we can use relationship DAX function. Use relationship DAX function creates relationship on the fly and calculates the figure. So don't worry about how the DAX functions because we have not started DAX session yet. So once we go through the DAX sessions, we will be actually seeing this example in our calculation. We'll be writing some this logic and we'll be kind of doing the calculation of this. Okay. Right now we have to have an idea. Okay, inactive relationship there, but how do I use? You can use using this some function called use relationship function. There is some function called DAX function. Using some, even if you don't remember this for now, it's fine. You can say there is some DAX function. That function will allow us to use this inactive relationship wherever we require. That's the only part that is required for now. Okay. Let's move on. So now understanding filter flow. So you might have also seen something called the direction of the relationship in Power BI. You might have seen some arrow marks. Did you see some arrow marks here? The directions?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll be talking about it now. So
Okay.
directions coming from here to here to here. You can see. So what is happening usually with the directions? So majority of the time that is actually the direction is something which is coming from customer table, like dimension table to the fact table, regions table to the fact table, dates table to the fact table, products table to the fact table, right? That means your customer table is filtering the sales table. The direction is like this, right? From here to here. Okay. That means your customer's table is able to filter sales table. Customer's table is able to filter the sales table. Dates table is able to filter the sales table. Regions table is able to filter the sales table. Like what exactly what I mean is I'll show you. I'll get you the products. Product name is here, and I'll make it as a sizer. So when I get a sizer, like product 1, I'm filtering, you're getting product 10, product 3, right? Whatever I'm filtering, the data is getting filtered, right? Product 14, product 9. You can see the values changing. That means your products table is able to filter the sales data, which is total revenue. Okay, the sales data. So basically the filtering is happening this way. This is the default behavior. Okay. And when you go and look at the filter direction, there's an option. For example, let's say we can actually have a two-way relationship also. Like for example, when you change the single to both, click on OK. Did you see the both way filtering now?
Yeah.
That means that this data can be filtered either way. The data can be filtered either
Okay.
way. So what I mean to say is, let me show you the difference. Actually, I have a separate example for that. But here I wanted to show you something before I go on to that actual example. So let's say we were talking about products, right? Let's keep our discussion with the products table. So sales table and products table. So what I'll do is I'll try to keep it here so that we'll get. So the filter direction is what is coming from here to here, right? This way. So what I do is you are able to see some data where product name can be filtered like this. So let me try to have a table here. Look at product names, product ID. Okay. And I would say sales table. Slicer. Because you never use columns from your fact table to filter. Okay, you should never use, but I'm just showing you for the demonstration purposes so that you'll get an idea. Okay, so you know this product IDs, right? It's more or less right. So when I filter like 1, 2, 3, is it filtering?
No,
No, right? So what I'll
it's
do
not
is,
filtering.
what I'll do is I'll just create a new page. I'll create a table again. Product name, product ID, and sorry, this is just a product ID. I want it as a slicer. I'll keep it here. Let me just list. Okay, now I'll create a table which has product name and also have a product ID from here. Okay. Is it filtering?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you're getting point. What is happening? What I'm saying is the filtering will happen from here to here, not from here to here. So
It's only one way.
yeah,
Okay.
one way. So what I can do is, so I'll change the direction now. I'll see. Okay, this is not suggested, but yeah, I'll say both. Okay, now the filter direction is both. That means the data from here can be filtered on this table. The data from here can be filtered on this table. Now go to the previous page where the filtering was not happening. You see, automatically filter applied. You see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you see? You can just look at this page 4 and see the data, and I'll just go and change this back to single, and see automatically the data would populate back.
Yeah. Product.
Yeah,
One.
got my
Mhm.
point. So the filter
Yeah.
direction, yeah, that's the meaning of the filter direction. So ideally,
Okay.
you should not actually change the direction unless unnecessary whenever it's not required. So when it is required, so I'll give you an example. I bought an example for that. Okay, this is filter direction importance. Okay, so we have 3 tables, like we have already discussed these 3 tables, right? You have understood like what is a sales table, it's a fact table, you have a returns data is also fact table, you have a territory dim as a dimension table. We have 2 fact
Yes.
tables here.
Yeah.
Got it. 2 fact tables. So here you can see sales table has got a territory key, which is a fact table. Returns data is also a territory key, which is also fact table. But there's a territory dimension table which I have to join, right, with both the tables, because I have to filter my data based upon a region. That means I have to join, because if I wanted to see on which region there were sales happening, like how many orders were ordered, like I can count order quantity from the sales table. At the same time, I have to count from which region how many items were return quantity. Right, I have both important, and I have to, if I wanted to see a data from based upon a region, I wanted to join, right? Definitely there's a join. So what I've done is I've created a join between this territory key, sales territory key from dimension table, yeah, to the foreign key from the sales table. This join is fine. And look at this join now. There's another join, returns data, territory key from sales territory key, right? Now what I'll do is I'll uncheck them. I mean, right now it is both. I'll demonstrate before I change it to both. Usually we would have gone this. So single way direction. So now if the idea is to understand, okay. Basically, if you look at the first scenario is basically, if you can see, I'm getting sales territory key from, let me show you. I'll just expand this. The first sales territory key is coming from dimension table. Okay. The first column is coming from dimension table. The second column order quantity is coming from sales data.
Sales table,
Return quantity is coming from returns data.
the return
Data. Right. So now you can see the data that you are getting here is all coming valid, right? You got a different order quantity and all. This is from mixed, like all three tables. But when I do the change, like for example, let's go to the second scenario where I'm getting the data from only
order quantity.
Returns data and sales data. I'm not getting any column from territory name. That means I'm getting territory key from sales data, right? And order quantity from sales data, return quantity from return data. So what is the problem? Like which column is causing problem here?
Return quantity, return data.
Why? Because
Table.
why? Because
the single relationship, isn't?
Yeah. So return, it's not able to understand. Basically, you can see the first part is fine, territory key and order quantity, because both the columns are coming from the sales table. There is no question, all right? There is no question here. These two will work fine because they are both coming from same table. They know how to filter each other. They're sitting in the same table. This is fine. But this return quantity is coming from third different table. If you go and look at the model, your sales data is here, your return data is here. So it doesn't know how to go and filter the data which is here. It doesn't even know, because it cannot flow against the direction of the flow. Getting my point? There's only this condition. You already know that this, looking at this join, what you can say is this arrow, you can say is only territory name can filter the sales data, but sales data cannot filter territory name, right?
Right.
Yeah, that understood. I've given an example already for that. Okay.
Mm.
So that means this cannot even filter this. That means it cannot even filter definitely this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is what is happening. So it's not able to filter this data. So return quantity is not able to filter based upon this. That's why it is getting the total field return quantity. The total number of returns are 1828. So it's giving, boss, I'm not able to filter for territory key 1. So I'm giving you the full. I'm giving you the full for second, third, fourth, fifth, like that. So it is not able to filter. That's why you're getting the full values. That's it. Okay. So now if you go back to the other example, I'm just selecting this one. So now what I've done is I've bought the data from, and what is the problem you see?
It's a order quantity.
Order quantity. That means you can see, and the returns data, I'm getting territory key and return quantity. That means one and return quantity are coming fine. For territory key, 270 were written, that for this region, 270 were written. That's fine, because it's coming from the same table. So now it knows how to filter the data from the same table. The problem is it's unable to filter the order quantity
Sales.
which is sitting here, because again the
Sales
same
data.
scenario. The arrow is like this, so it cannot go against the filter direction. Okay. So now look at this. Now what I'll do is I'll say, okay, now what I've done is I've just changed the filter direction. Is it fixed?
Mm.
You notice that?
Yeah,
now?
it's both working.
Both working. You change this, the other page will also work. So what I've done is I just pin. So again, it depends on the requirement. It depends on the data analysis that you want. Sometimes you might need, but it's not always suggestible to always go with the dual direction. You might want to say, I can always keep dual direction. Why should I, break my head? But it's not suggested for performance reasons. You should be maintaining the data such a way that your fact table is at the center. Your dimension table should be filtering the fact table. Okay. And also here the two fact tables in this scenario. That's why you are kind of making it two-way filter, because you are trying to club the data from sales table and returns table. But usually you will not be doing that. You will be maintaining a different set of data differently, so that you will be only filtering from dimension basis. Okay, it's not suggestible to use too many dual direction or multiple direction filter both way.
I mean, unless we have two fact tables, we should not use it.
Yeah, unless we have a specific reason, proper reason,
Okay.
not exactly fact tables as well, but yeah, proper reason,
Mhm.
or where you want this table should be filtered, that table. Right? Sometimes you want both of them to be filtered. Like, I've showed you the previous example. For example, here I've showed you, if I want both of them to be filtered, for whatever reason, my client is very much rigid that he wants to say, boss, I want to, filter this page. I want to use this slicer from this table only, like this only I want to filter. Maybe some
Okay.
data. So then you can put the client specific requirement, you can kind of manage that to handle it
Okay.
separately. You getting my point? So it all again goes to the requirements and scenarios. So this is very important. Like this is all about data model. Okay. You might have seen, like, we have bought in the tables, we have made some relationships active, how to differentiate between active, inactive, and you might be knowing already what is the cardinality, how to join many to one, one to many, one to one and all. And then you have gone to the next level of filter flow direction. How is the direction and what scenarios the direction should be changing? And you have learned what is the dates table, why it is important, how we got the date table from the M code, M script, right? How to generate the dates table. Yeah. Any questions?
Yes. Yeah.
I know it's little bit advanced. We're going to it goes now like this only because the DAX sessions. I assume you are kind of geared up by now. So next level will be also kind of DAX functions where you start learning. So for one thing, understanding the DAX, you need to make your mindset. You need to accept that is a formula language. So some things are standard. We need not question why this formula is like this and why this way. This is a standard functions, standard way of using. We use some standard set of formulas. Okay, we'll be learning how it works and all. So you need to just practice and kind of focus on understanding what are the measures, what are the calculated columns. So we will be starting the DAX session from our next one, which is heart of Power BI. DAX is kind of an heart of Power BI. Okay.
So we are done with the model.
We're done with the model. These are all I've covered enough deeper concepts, but generally most people just join them and move on to the next level. So I've covered enough fun. So if you have any questions, you can go through this session and come up with any doubts from the next session.
So Santosh, I have a quick question. So we have added a dates table over here, right? By using M code or something. So can we add any other table except date? So will be having any separate M code for that?
No,
How
we
does it
don't
work
have
in
it.
real?
If you are what do you say, programmer, you want to write some code, you can write it down and get it. Power BI will work.
Okay. I mean, are we using it in a real time? I mean, do you
No.
face any?
In past 5 years, I'm using only one script for M code, which is dates table. I'm not generating any other table other than the dates table in the M code.
Okay.
Yeah, but going forward, you learn what are the things we can do with the M code, like how we can populate one query from other table to other table. It's as simple. Since you have asked the question, I'll just give an quick idea. So, for example, regions table have. I'll just copy this regions table. I'll copy this regions table. I'll just ping you this on our WhatsApp.
Oh, from where you got this? Like from advanced editor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, advanced editor. Just
Okay.
copy paste the script. Yeah, I'll ping you. You can copy paste it in your thing. You'll get this table.
Oh, okay.
Getting my point. It's as it just like a table, like everything is there. But provided you have to understand the source is coming from SharePoint, provided you have access to the source.
Correct. Yeah.
Some other person will not be able to do that because I have given you access to the SharePoint, so you will be able to get it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's how it is. So I'm just giving you an example. So advanced editor is something where your entire steps, whatever you do, is everything is stored here in the advanced editor. Every line of code is sitting here. So you're adding something, you're renaming it. You can see you renamed it. A rename step has been added. If you do split the column, a new line will be added, like split column. So everything you do here in the applied steps, it will show up at the same time. In the code also, it will be added by the tool. You're not writing the script actually.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Got it.
We don't even have to write the script actually. Okay.
Okay.
Santosh, I
Okay.
have a question.
Yes, Swapna.
Actually, in the properties, you are adding in values. You are adding product ID into values. And is there any particular thing we have to add into the values or into
Here,
some
what
other?
values here?
No, in Power Query desktop, in the desktop, here in the properties, you are adding some row labels and key
No, I didn't add
columns.
anything. Just forget about this. I'll minimize this. I didn't do
Right now,
anything.
we don't have to worry about that.
You don't
Right?
have to worry about it. Just focus on what
Okay,
I'm teaching.
okay.
This is
Okay,
just
okay.
properties. Okay. I didn't do anything about properties. I never discussed that. Okay.
Okay, okay, got it.
Yeah. Okay. Just focus on what I'm teaching because a few things will cover later. There's a sequence to it. Okay. All right. Any more questions before I stop today's session? Yeah, please.
No, we agree.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it
we
will
are.
be next level, I guess, because understanding is important. Once we understand this concept, we'll move on to the DAX. So from next session, I'm starting the DAX sessions, okay, which is important. DAX sessions, one suggestion I'm giving you. If you're missing one session, you will it will be very difficult to catch up the other session because DAX sessions will be morely like 5 to 6 sessions continuously. So
Okay.
if you are missing one session, it's really difficult for you to understand the other sessions. Okay, it's all interlinked. Okay, you have to make sure you
Okay.
attend all these dark sessions together. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Okay, guys. Just be prepared. Just complete this all these past videos and geared up. Be geared up for this DAX session.
Sure, Santosh.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have a nice night.
Okay. Thank you, Santosh.
Thank you, Santosh.
Bye.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
See you.
Santosh.